everybody, my name is Starrapter and welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk about the Marvel Netflix series. Now that they are canceled, I want to talk about the lasting impact that they've had on TV and fandom as a whole. There were 13 seasons worth of TV and what makes them stand out to what's been done before. So first off, I like how they're all set in New York City. We have all these characters interspersed different districts of New York City, from Harlem to Hell's Kitchen and everywhere in between. I like how in New York it was very much, these characters were very much separate from what we've seen in other Marvel universes, because it was a lot grimmer, a lot grittier, definitely a lot darker. You know, the way they filmed this and the way the characters behaved, the violence, and all of that really lended itself to making the Marvel Universe, at least on Netflix, to be something that fans, I think, have wanted for a long time. To see these characters, you know, cursing, doing just about, you know, a lot of this adult-oriented kind of things, and it was almost like the HBO, in a way, version of Marvel for sure. And the villains, to me, really stood out. Like, we have Kingpin, which I think is still not just one of the best villains in Marvel Netflix, but one of the best villains made for the MCU in general. Even with the movies, he's still better than a lot of those villains that were brought into the movies. And you have characters like the Purple Man, played by David Tennant. So many great characters that you could get behind that really had some deep nuances to their characters, and their journeys going from season to season really fleshed them out even better. You actually felt like you were understanding the logic of these villains and actually, you know, understanding what was actually going on in our heads. And that led me to the amazing arc of the heroes. So some of the heroes, granted, didn't start off in the best way possible, looking at True Iron Fist, but definitely season 2 of Iron Fist, you know, picked things up. But we have, you know, Luke Cage, we have Jessica Jones, we have Daredevil, we have, you know, Frank Castle as the Punisher. These characters got multiple seasons of TV. You think about it, about 13 episodes per season. That is so much time to really dig into these characters. Compared to like a 2-hour movie, we got so much more in one season of television. And some of these characters like Jessica Jones and Daredevil actually had 3 seasons to really flesh out their characters, to see their vulnerable points, to see their moments of triumph, to see their inner struggles of what's going on with all these side characters that are affecting the heroes themselves. And I did really enjoy seeing, again, like, this is the, you know, grittier, darker version of the Marvel Universe, and seeing how these characters, they were portrayed in a more realistic sense. Like, the way that their powers exist in the world definitely feels more grounded in a way that it almost looks kind of believable. And that goes into a lot of the choreography, a lot of the action, which is so good. This is what really brought me into this universe. This, you know, that season 1 of Daredevil, that hallway scene is going to be infamous. It will never go, you know, you'll never forget this moment where it's just that one camera shot that doesn't edit out. And we see that later on in future Daredevil seasons, where you're seeing stuff that is like, you probably have seen it before, but in the way it's presented in these shows, again, makes these characters feel more vulnerable. They're not actually getting out of these battles unscathed. They are getting beat to hell, to the point where they're bloody and everything. They hold no bars against this. So yeah, the action was awesome. And the way that this is made for TV, the way that it is so high quality, and you could tell there's a budget, but the way they actually work around the budget to make this look very cinematic for something that is being produced as frequent as it is, you know, having 2 to 3 of these series a year for the last 4 years, has been really great work by Netflix to make sure that they are, you know, not cutting corners, but making the most they can out of all this. I do want to take some time to talk about the things that let me down about Marvel Netflix. The first one being, a lot of these episodes were filler, and I said that in a lot of my season reviews, is that, you know, they had 13 episodes to tell a story, and about 6 of those episodes were kind of a waste of time, and a lot of them were filled up with side characters that didn't really amount to much as far as the overall goals of the protagonists and the heroes. Also, another thing was the Defenders. The whole reason why the Marvel Netflix was a thing was you were introducing each one of these single characters first in their own kind of origin story, kind of like the MCU before the Avengers, and they were going to have their own version of Avengers called Defenders. The villain ended up being very weak, as well as the action was not the best. They could have had more action scenes, and the dialogue between the characters could have been a little bit better. And finally, not enough connection to the MCU. So, this was, called like, oh, it was going to be connected. And the connections they had were so minute. Like, okay, you had paper clippings of the Battle of New York in somebody's office. You also had mentions of a Captain America action figure and a big green guy, aka the Hulk. And that was pretty much it. There was barely any crossover. There could have been a character interaction with somebody, maybe not top tier like, Chris Evans, but you could have got somebody a little bit lower tier, maybe to at least make a connection, to make us feel like, okay, we are in the same universe, but it felt so compartmentalized. So I want to talk about how Marvel Netflix impacted my life specifically. It introduced me to Daredevil, who is now my favorite Marvel hero. I immediately, after watching season 1, went out and bought my first Marvel comic, and that was, the Daredevil Frank Miller run back in the 1980s. I, for whatever reason, really gravitated toward the character of Matt Murdock and understanding his struggles, liking that this character was vulnerable, but having ways to overcome these weaknesses and enhancing other parts of his life to do so, and the different characters that were involved with his story. He just will always be my favorite Marvel hero, and thanks to this series, and thanks to Netflix for developing this series, because now it opened up my eyes to the rest of the Marvel comics and really getting more ingrained with the MCU as a whole, with really liking a lot of these characters. Another thing that this did was get me into enjoying my first real binge for a TV series. Like, I just so much enjoy when these things drop on a Friday morning, get up super early, maybe watch an episode before work, and by the time Sunday rolls around, I'm pretty much almost done with 13 episodes for the most part. I really enjoy just sitting down, watching, 2 or 3 episodes at once, and having all these episodes come out at one time is a great feeling, and it's a great way to spend a weekend. For sure. So I want to hear what you guys thought about the Marvel Netflix series as a whole. Did you overall enjoy them? Do you think there was room for improvement? And let's talk about what the future can hold. Is there a chance maybe that, Disney Plus can have these on their own service? Or now that they own Hulu, maybe there's a chance they can go on Hulu because they're more mature. We don't know what Disney Plus, the kind of content might be geared more toward a younger audience. We're not sure yet, but hopefully this is not the last time that we see these characters, and hopefully we still have the same cast providing the likenesses and, acting as these characters once more, because I think the acting all around has been pretty good, and I would love to see these guys continue on, maybe just on a different network or a different way of providing this entertainment. So if you guys want to see the rest of my Marvel Netflix reviews, I have quite a few seasons reviewed on the channel right now. You can make sure you go ahead and check them out, as some of the Marvel movies I've also reviewed, as well as lots of Star Wars content. So if that sounds interesting to you, you can support the channel simply by subscribing. So that is going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.